my baguettes.
When lost in Cannes, just make sure you get your jam. It wasn't jam. It was they couldn't figure it out. It was ham. It was ham that I really wanted. So it was a ham baguette.
Ham.
And
yeah.
We just had such such language problems. But no, it was it's been an interesting journey, the whole film. Just getting to start there and it's had its ups and downs and where I ended up filming. Actually, the film was filmed in Saskatoon. So I don't know if you know where that is, but
I have no idea. It sounds awesome.
It's in the prairies. So I don't know. I grew up in Manitoba, so it's actually Manitoba is north of Minot, North Dakota. So
there's prairies in Canada.
Yeah. And it's the prairies in Canada, so it would be, I guess it would be your North Dakota, South Dakota area, and then Montana, I think that's what it's actually maybe just above.
Okay,
so
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Just how much you know of the world. There's prairies in Canada.
Well,
but I think of
there
Canada,
are prairies in Canada.
Well, you just got to think I
think of mountains in Ellen Page. That's all I see in Canada. It's like mountain, Ellen Page, mountain, Ellen Page.
Well,
maybe a Michael Cera.
He's obsessed with Ellen Page.
I do enjoy Ellen Page.
Really?
She's not my number one anymore. Ellen Page has been my number one for a long time. You know how everybody has those lists of celebrities? For a long time, it was Ellen Page, and she was on top, followed closely by Zooey Deschanel and stuff like that. But for some reason, Kat Dennings, after I saw Thor, she has been elevated to the top slot. So
she is
Ellen,
awesome.
I feel bad for her. She is, and this person right here that I'm sitting next to can't stand her. Thinks that she's
I did not
ugly.
say that she was ugly. I'm just saying that she's quirky personality.
You said something about Garbage Pail Kid.
He is making this up completely. I did not say anything negative about her.
Gollum, I think.
I didn't say that either.
A Gollum.
Did you call her Gollum?
I said that I'm just not a big fan of Ellen Page. I just never.
We have very different tastes in women.
Right.
But
and I am now a cute. Oh yeah, my new top of my heap is Ryan Gosling. I just saw Drive. So.
Was that good? Because I'm hearing mixed reviews.
Well, it depends. The people who there's some awesome things. Like I guess I never think about blood very much, and there's people in the audience who thought it was a little bit gratuitous because there was a woman who kept really kind of every time it got really bloody, and it just makes me think, oh, what's wrong with me? Because I didn't notice it at all.
Right.
But there's two weird things about the movie. First and foremost, this is going to sound odd, but the title font is pink, and it's this handwritten font that I think just comes standard with your Microsoft Word.
It reminds me of Footloose.
Yeah,
Footloose
it's
font.
exactly that. It's a really weird font. And then the second thing is they have these musical interludes in the film that actually are, I think it's sung like sort of 1980s Euro pop. You know what I mean? It's clearly sung by people who English isn't their first language because the lyrics are so lame.
Well, it's kind of awesome.
The director of that movie, I think, is that's his first English movie, and I know he is European, so maybe that's why he's throwing that in there.
He's Danish, I think, and so the problem is that, when you think of Northern European pop, you know where it's going, right? There's ABBA, which I love, and then there's Ace of Base and Aha. Just think about that, right? So it's kind of got that feeling of... And I don't know if you guys watch Eurovision every year, but it's the height of cheese, and it's both awesome and awful at the same time.
Eurovision?
I think you said Eurovision.
Eurovision.
Yeah.
What is that?
And it's where ABBA won with Waterloo back in the 1970s, but every year these European bands and performances, they compete, and it's like one year I remember there was this blind this woman, and she had this really spectacular, Celine Dionish, but she was blind too, so she had costume changes, and it was really spectacular. So there's you realize how strange Europe is, and I guess I should get off the Europe topic, but honestly, it's the Drive actually literally drove that home, just how strange the music choices were. So partway through, I'm not sure how I felt about those parts, which was instead of it being kind of emotional, they go into this weird Europop that kind of goes over top of it. So,
right.
But Ryan Gosling is amazing. So that was.
I liked him in Blue Valentine. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And did you see that?
I did. I think I thought he was really fabulous in that, and I was looking forward to I guess Ides of March. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Drive is one of those. Right now, it's maybe for the whole year. It's that movie that everybody you either love it or you hate it.
Right.
And there's no real in between of like, yeah, but I definitely want to see it. I haven't seen it, but I've been hearing a lot of stuff about it.
Neither have I. I haven't seen it either.
Because when I first started seeing stuff about it, it was like, I think it probably was that pink logo. It just kind of turned me off to it. I was just kind of like, eh. But the more I keep hearing about it, because I keep on seeing like reviews for it, and of course, a lot of other people on other podcasts have been talking about it. So the more I hear about it, the more it makes me want to see it. But yeah, it definitely seems to be one of those movies that's kind of like polarizing people. But but anyway, let's talk about the movie that Karen made.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about Stained.
And just give us a little bit of background about how it came about, because I know that you've told me this a couple times, I think, that you've been like involved in like filmmaking for like 17 years or something. You told me like that.
16, yes.
16 years.
I started as a lawyer in this industry, so I started from the finance side of things, and so I was not ever planning on writing and directing. It was, well, for one thing, I just like swanning around with the Starbucks, like, actually like doing any work, right? So I wasn't thinking of doing this, but about 5 years ago, I had a bunch of films and television shows that I was trying to get off the ground, and literally it was I think it was 2005, 2006, everything just imploded. And it's just like all these things that it doesn't show up when you've just been in development for however long. It looks like you're doing nothing, but you're actually trying to get these projects financed and together. And I had a couple of horror films that I was actually trying to get together, and they just kind of fell sideways, and I was getting really frustrated because I thought, this is what I want, could someone actually do this for me? So I made my first short film just to, I almost wanted it like a corporate video to say, like, this is kind of what I want, could someone else do this for me so I don't have to, and at that point, I was really influenced by the Asian horrors, so my first short film was called The Cabinet, and it won a national prize in Canada. They picked 5 short films to actually fund and kind of, go through training sort of thing. So I got the National Screen Institute Drama Prize, and that was sort of my first thing. And even then I was thinking, I don't know if I actually want to go down this path. You end up broke, poor, and just depressed, right? I don't really want to be a filmmaker. So then I guess I kept getting into all these other programs for filmmaking right after that one, and I thought, well, obviously I'm supposed to be maybe doing this. And I got into a Women in the Director's Chair program in 2008, 2009, and I'd written Stained, I think the summer of 2006, but it was just in a first draft format. And by 2009, February, basically I had my, I was told that I had my financing together sort of thing, but it took until, I think, September of that year for us to go to camera. So the budget's just under $1 million. I ended up raising most of that money through our government sources and just, begging and pleading. And, so, we shot that in Saskatoon and finished the film in Vancouver. So it was literally, I'd never worked with a story editor before, so there was a lot of just me learning the ropes and it's a very different thing being a producer and being a writer-director. So especially when you've only done one short prior to that, and I hadn't gone to film school either. So.
Well, what did you? Because I looked at your IMDb page. Like, what? Because there's other stuff on there. Like, what was that movie? The Bone Collector? No, not the Bone Collector.
The Bone Snatcher. Yeah, I was an executive producer on that.
Oh, okay.
So, so for that, for me, my background is literally in putting together financial deals. So on that, I was really in, I was negotiating the contracts. Because it was a 3-country co-production, that was Canada, South Africa, UK, and then our distributor was in the LA. So literally I had 4 jurisdictions, 4, I'm currency queen, started off in tax. So, something like that, because there's, a much bigger budget and lots of producers involved, everyone kind of has their role, and mine was in finances. So,
well, coming from